Greetings. I'm Dr. Paula Porter, and I've been an adjunct faculty with Walden since 2010. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about using SWOT and SMART in professional development of your own teaching skills. SWOT, as you know, is a business organizational tool, and many of the schools and campuses also use SWOT to look at their strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. You know, this is kind of a reflection piece. In education, reflection is something that we've encouraged our students to do for quite a long time for their own learning, but we don't often use reflective practice in our own classrooms that we can help us understand what we do, what our skills are, and what we need to be able to do to improve our own teaching skills. For example, you know, how skilled are you in using the learning management system? How do you do about answering course questions for your students as far as navigation? What kind of tools can we use to better our teaching skills? These are all elements that we need to look at with our SWOT analysis. Once we've kind of looked at the SWOT analysis, we can then have a guideline, a roadmap, if you will, to go and look to see what type of goals we can then apply for our SMART goals for professional development for improving our own teaching skills. Okay, so breaking down SWOT, I use it in a professional context. It's a limited effort. You know, you can spend a few minutes to a half hour or so looking at the talents you already have, your strengths, what areas you need improvement in, your weaknesses, and any opportunities you may have for professional development that are achievable, usually within a one-year cycle. We generally look at these once a year. And then we can also look at any potential threats in our career or things that we will be dealing with in the future. You can also tie in some things we have in the education field. For example, a potential threat is going to be the lack of students that are coming into our courses and retention of those students. So those are potential threats that you may want to consider to think about when you look at your SWOT program. Now, I provided a SWOT analysis here, and you can see some of the strengths being publishing in journals, technical knowledge and using web tools, developing a positive classroom environment. But there's also other weaknesses. For example, not keeping aware of any changes in the program that's coming down the pike. And in one case with this one, if you're not attending a lot of the sessions that your program folks may be having. Some of us deal with procrastination. A big issue that we see happening in the instructional design field is the ADA and diversity issues in visual issues, transcripts, and the like, which we're doing with this program, for example. You know, one of the areas for your opportunities may be to look at how you can develop more time management skills so you can do additional research to help your own development. You know, can you make time to complete these deadlines? Threats can also be outside events, such as family issues, if you're dealing with a family illness, lack of assistance with staff or your own skills, time management, and if you have technology issues. Many folks are still using dated computer programs. You may want to be thinking about investing in a new computer, as painful as that is. That's another issue to kind of look at. And we also have these difficulty in motivating students to be self-directed learners. You know, do we offer them the opportunity to contact us, or do we just keep it with an email? So these are some issues that we need to think about when we do our own personal SWOT analysis. Now, when you look at it for your own professional development, you then have this roadmap, this GPS system to look at and see how you can connect the categories to determine a course of action. Okay, so you'll get, of course, you match your strengths with the opportunities and the threats and the weaknesses that you have. I generally suggest looking at your weaknesses first so that you can convert those negatives into the positive learning opportunities that you may have. It's not effective. The SWOT analysis is great on paper, but unless you take it that one step further and start to develop an idea, an action plan, then it really isn't very beneficial in taking the time and the energy to do the SWOT analysis. So select those that you think you can accomplish within a short period of time. Maybe you have a goal that you can do in 6 months. Maybe there's a goal in 3 months. Maybe there's a goal in a year. But don't overwhelm yourself. Limit yourself to 2 or 3 opportunities that you want to look at in the coming year. And then you want to take those and use the SMART goals to plan out your professional development for the coming year. Again, I put this in a table that you can see what the SWOT goals could be. And you can see as far as the information at the top, it says it states the action from the weaknesses or threat. And I use the Bloom's taxonomy action verb. For example, improving your course materials. Granted, a lot of our materials for Walden are created already, but there are ways and opportunities that we can expand when we see that students are struggling with a concept. Are there websites we can offer? Do you have additional teaching materials that you can provide that may help the students understand? You know, we can use those in announcements and also in the doc sharing fields of Blackboard. You know, there may be a way to develop student plagiarism. You may want to present a video program. There's tons of them out there on YouTube that you can just upload to your course to kind of, if you notice that there are going to be any problems with student plagiarism, especially with writing papers. Okay, the next group talks about a focus of professional development to be undertaken. And you'll see how these, the columns all, the rows all fit the columns. So what kind of technology can you use to assist students? Can you do a review of the discussion postings we're supposed to already do with the Turnitin Safe Assign? Sometimes if you do this enough, and many of us have been teaching online for a while, we kind of have that sixth sense of when students are plagiarizing. Then you have your rationale for professional development. You know, how does this support the instruction that you want to do to improve your student learning? You know, what kind of discussion questions can you use? Then you kind of look here at the activities you can use to complete. Do you want to do research? Do you want to go and take some webinars? Do you want to go to a couple conferences? There are a lot of different things that we can do to improve our own skills through these activities. Most are also low or no cost, especially if you're using webinars. And there's a lot of agencies out there that provide that opportunity. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the presentation. You know, a few things I want to really stress. Make sure you do an honest evaluation of your strengths and weaknesses, the opportunities and threats. This does not work unless you do an honest, solid evaluation and reflection of who you are and what your skills are. I always encourage you to use Bloom's action verbs as you develop your SMART goals and outcomes because, one, they can be assessed easier and it helps you build a reasonable plan. Make sure that you go back and look at these goals and the material you have put together at least halfway through the year or something changes in your job. It's always a good idea. I usually tell my students if they're doing an evaluation of their own abilities to do it once a semester. I do that myself. One of the ways I may look at my SWOT goals is to go back and do a task analysis of my own skills. Again, this is something that's done in business. It's a very easy tool to find and apply. And it gives you all these things so at the last minute when you're getting your evaluation done, you're not sitting here scrambling going, okay, what did I do and how can I improve? You know, and then the beautiful thing of this whole process is that you build on the previous years. What did you accomplish last year? What type of things do you need to accomplish in the coming year? Otherwise, try this. It takes a little extra time, but good luck.